Today's video is going to be a little different from kind of the run-of-the-mill outdoor stuff. I wanted to talk about the most important thing I think I've ever learned in my 24 and a half years on this planet. I've done a lot of different things in my time. I worked in the horse transportation industry that took me all over the southeast coast. I've been all the way from Texas. I've gone up into Colorado a couple times, all the way down to just south of Miami. I actually got to spend a Christmas Eve in Miami one year for work, which was pretty cool. They do like palm trees with Christmas lights, which I thought was pretty funny. I've done that, gone to college, changed majors a couple times. I've started a organization on campus called Open Room, which is just a place for open discussion that I wasn't seeing a lot of before I started it. I started the speaking center here where we're at right now. I took a chance and started working for Outdoor Pursuits with basically no outdoor experience whatsoever. I've done a fair bit of stuff. I learned to weld in high school, became the captain of the welding team, like just a bunch of different things. And it's not anything crazy. It's not anything that other people can't achieve, but that brings me kind of to my point. The most important thing I ever learned, you just have to do it. There's nothing stopping you. I mean, other than like financial barriers, like if you want to get into like Formula One racing, you probably have some things to overcome there. But as far as most things, you can do them. I can do them. We all can do them. Starting an organization was pretty scary. I didn't know if I would have a lot of people interested. I didn't know if anyone wanted to have these open conversations with me, and it ended up working well. I think at the height of Open Room, we had 20 to 30 people coming to meetings for a while. And that number's decreased, but that's okay. A lot of those people thought they wanted to have open conversations, and they really just wanted to just yell their opinions at each other, which is the complete opposite of why I made my organization. Starting the speaking center was also pretty wild. I went to my mentor and said, hey, I heard about this thing that's happening on other campuses. I think that'd be a super cool thing that we could try to figure out and get some tutors in. And a couple days later, he told me I had a job. Working for Outdoor Pursuits has been the craziest thing I've done. It's made me uncomfortable. It's made me have to push myself. It's made me have to learn things I never thought that I wanted to learn, even while I was learning them. When we did my first training, and you saw the trainings that we did in a previous video, that whole week when I was training, I didn't know if I was cut out for it. I didn't know if I was going to be able to facilitate properly. I didn't know if I'd be able to help groups. I didn't know if I'd be able to work at heights. I didn't know any of that. I had never really rock climbed before, never really gone camping other than one time when me and my little brother were in Boy Scouts, and I had never done any of those things, and it was scary. It was hard, and I'm still learning, and I'm still doing things that take me out of my comfort zone. We were supposed to do a kayak trip before everything shut down, and I was supposed to lead it. I went out with my boss, and we were scouting places on kayak, and we paddled 7 miles that day. And up until that point, I had never kayaked before. And the fact that I had never done that before, but did 7 miles and scouted and tried to figure out where would be the best place to go, is really important to me. I mean, you talk about scary things. We went on a canoe trip about a year ago, spring break of, was it 2020? And that was easily the scariest thing that I have ever done. Just floating down the Rio Grande, the border between Texas and Mexico, for 3 or 4 days. It was pretty wild. It was something well out of my comfort zone that I never thought I would do, and I don't regret it for a second. There was a point where a bunch of us flipped in this really crazy rapid, and the river went one way, and there was like a little whirlpool on the side, and in between those was this like earth mass, I guess you'd call it, but it had been dug out underneath. The boat in front of us flipped, and we were trying to back paddle to not rush into them, and we were caught in the current and we couldn't stop, and we went in right after them, and we flipped, and I was with the one person on the trip that couldn't swim. We all had life jackets, of course, but I was still pretty concerned about her while also having to be concerned about myself. Now I'm pinned. It's them. They kind of get out of the way. My boat, Bailey, my partner in crime on that trip, and then the guys behind us came in too and also flipped, and I just saw their boat coming at me. It's super deep, you can't touch the bottom, so we're just kind of floating in this whirlpool, panicking, trying to figure out what to do. They have their boat coming at me, I'm pinned next to our boat, and I don't regret a single second of it. Something so rewarding about getting out there and doing things that make you uncomfortable. I am a huge proponent of getting out of your comfort zone and just doing things, and that's kind of the whole theme of what I've been trying to do the past couple of years in college. I'm in a master's program right now, something I never thought I would actually do. I talked about wanting to get a PhD, but I didn't know if I actually would. And then here I am in my master's. And while I don't want to get my PhD anymore, it still blows my mind that I am the first person in my immediate family to get a college degree. My grandparents never did. My mom and dad definitely did not. I was told that I was a fool for going to college because I didn't need to. When I get done with my master's, I will be the first person in my family to have that level of education. I'm from the first generation in my family to have a college education. You gotta put yourself out there. You gotta learn to do things that you never thought you'd be able to do. Go for that hike if hiking makes you uncomfortable. Go rock climbing. If you're a college student, there's someone on your campus that is into outdoor stuff, I guarantee it. Outdoor pursuits program, outdoor adventure program, something along those lines. Just get out there and try it. Or if that's not for you, try something else. Try out for a play. Try to learn an instrument. College campuses have music departments. They have practice rooms that have pianos in them for free. Go learn that. Learn French. Learn graphic design. Learn something. Put yourself in an uncomfortable position every once in a while and learn how to be okay in positions where you feel like everything's not okay. It's a crazy but important part of life. On that canoe trip, we had something called the Groover, and that was the facilities for that trip, and I was not a fan. On the riverbanks, it's just canyon walls, hundreds of feet up in the air on either side, and sitting on this tiny portable toilet in the middle of the most beautiful place I've ever been and doing your business while people just float down the river right by you. It was uncomfortable, but I'm more confident because of it, as weird as that sounds. I'm more confident in wilderness situations now. I'm more confident doing things that need to be done in situations where you don't want to do them. Another good example, the first camping trip I ever went on with Outdoor Pursuits, which is only the second camping trip I'd ever been on in my life. It was cold, it sucked. I didn't want to be there. I didn't sleep well. It got to around freezing every night. I woke up and my tent was covered in frost. I couldn't stay warm at night. I slept like absolute garbage. And we went cave exploring. For all of the pain and all of the issues that happened, I would immediately do that trip 100 times over. I thought it was absolutely amazing. You guys, you gotta put yourself out there. You have to do things and learn things that make you uncomfortable and that you never thought you would do. Because if not, you stay stagnant, right? You just stay in one place and you never go anywhere. And comfort's nice. I mean, my favorite thing to do at the end of the day is just go lay in bed and watch random YouTube videos about whatever and just hang out with Lindsay. But I also recognize that I need to try and do more things. Like the hammock camping video I did in Lindsay's backyard. I was uncomfortable. I wasn't confident in my skills doing that. I didn't understand how to do it well, but I still try. And I think if there's the takeaway from this, it's try something new and try not to give up. If it's hard, if it's uncomfortable, if you don't think you can do it, keep at it. Give it, a handful of tries. You don't know anything about the outdoors. If you don't know anything about camping, go camping 3 times, 3 different locations, different times a year. Maybe you don't enjoy camping in the cold. I don't blame you. Go when it's a little warmer. If you don't know about hammocking, try to get just a super cheap hammock and learn about, how to lay in it on the diagonal and different ways to attach it to trees. And then if you enjoy it, look into, static ridge lines and tarps and all that stuff. If you don't know how to cook, just pick a recipe. Nothing too crazy, but just something. Learn how to take pre-made stuff, like take a jar of spaghetti sauce, add a little bit of half and half to it. to make it more of a vodka sauce. Add some spices into it. Figure out how those things go together. You want to get real crazy? Make chicken parm. If you can make chicken parm, you will get in good with the ladies or the gentlemen or whoever you're trying to get in good with. Put yourself out there and learn and try and do things that you're not comfortable with, because if not, you're never going to learn to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Do things that scare you. Go ziplining. Learn to scuba dive. That was really scary, but it was an absolute blast. Learn to cook, and then cook for people. Because if you mess up a meal for yourself, it's no big deal. But if you really want to try and cook for people, that's where I guess the risk is involved. Go skydiving. Go cave exploring. Go on a road trip. Go to a state park or a national park or just a park, and just go walk around and hike and get yourself in situations that you're uncomfortable with. If you're really prone to hiking and backpacking and all that, learn about computers. Learn about the arts. Learn about something that you don't know about. Put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, sit there and learn how to be okay with it. That is the most important lesson I have ever learned in my life. We need to always be growing. We need to always be evolving. You're not going to do that doing the same thing day in and day out. If you like the format of this video, the like talking head thing, leave a comment below, let me know. I kind of like the idea of this. I mean, I have a degree in communications. I started Open Room to have conversations, and we could do more of these. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, help me with that algorithm. But until next time, guys, stay outdoors, or maybe don't. Stay uncomfortable. We'll go with that for now.